Well, I did an earlier video where I just talked briefly about like financial considerations and what I thought the maintenance requirements and ease of maintenance would be like. Obviously that's just estimations and some guessing until you get in there and really start doing stuff you don't know for sure. But let's take a quick look and see if we can see how easy it'll be from the underside. So there's really no great angle to show you some of the things that I want to show you guys, but right now what you're looking at is on the passenger side. Okay, so if you're thinking about engine orientation, your belt is going to be on the passenger side, and the back of the engine would actually be where my head is, roughly. So oil, and if I can move this ever so slightly, right back there, if you can see, you're going to need like a little hex nut, which I forget what the actual term for it is, but that's the oil filter back there. So you got a skid plate piece, looks like about 4 bolts. Pop that off, and then everything is right there. So good and bad there, right? In a lot of vehicles you can actually get to change your oil without having to remove any kind of skid plate, but in this particular instance I would say it's going to be required. This is your drain port, and so it's still going to kind of hit up on here. Plus, to get to that oil filter, I don't see any way to do it without that coming off. So for those of you who have other people do your oil changes, I highly recommend that you inspect that, because I know from prior experience that taking someone else to do oil change, they'll pull that right off and they will never put it back on. So if you're wondering what you're looking at right now, back side of the transmission, and this your drive shaft, and it sends power down to the rear wheels. So but again, just kind of wanted to just show, this is the S model. I don't know if there's any extra items that might show up on a SX or EX, but you got these covers, call them skid plates, call them whatever you want, kind of protect the underside on both sides. Everything's painted as far as I can tell in terms of the frame. That should help with rust, like I mentioned before. Generally speaking, it's tight. You got this cross member here, so depending on the work that needs to be done, that could kind of be annoying and get in the way. But there's a lot that I think is still accessible from down here. Frankly, most of it is work that I don't even think I would do myself. I would just take it in. But good news is I'm not seeing any signs of leaks or anything after almost 300 miles. I wouldn't expect to, but God help me if I did. I'd be pretty damn pissed. As I think all of us would. I'm just kind of showing suspension and driving parts mechanisms. Sorry if this is not helpful at all. There's no real good angles, so I just wanted you guys to see as much as you can, since you may not want to ever go under your own vehicle yourself. See if I can get better through there. So anyway, oil change doesn't look like it'd be too bad. Some of the other work might be a little bit of a pain because of this cross member, but generally speaking still looks fairly easy to do. A lot of you might say, well, who cares about that? Oil changes should always be easy. But keep in mind that, from what I understand, with the 2019 Ford Ranger, what I heard on the internet was correct, which that was a vehicle I had considered since it was coming from an F-150. Trying to see if I can get you a better view of that, where the oil filter is there in the back, that kind of round part that sticks down. But that 2019 Ford Ranger, from what I understand, you actually have to remove your passenger side wheel in order to be able to get to the oil filter. So what a pain in the butt to have to do that every 7,500 miles. But then again, if you're doing proper maintenance and rotating your tires as you should, perhaps that's really not as big of a deal as it seems. So, looking good.